Okay, I'm making this video actually holding my phone with one hand and trying to use my mouse with the other, and so it might be a little bit shaky and unfocused, but this is to try to help someone who was asking questions about adding items to their store categories, not the eBay categories when you first list your item, but once they're listed, they're put into a category in your store. And most of the time, unless you designate it to go to a specific category, which is something that I think you can do if you use the advanced listing tool, if you don't do that, I think they automatically go into the other folder. Now, I've just listed quite a few things, so I'm going to walk through this video, hopefully pretty quickly, and try to help someone get through this. So first, I'm on my eBay, and I go down to Manage My Store. And I have the new store view, so I'm not sure if it would be the same thing if you have the old store view. But anyway, you go up to the top, like on mine, under Store Design, and click on Store Categories. And that will bring up over here a list of all of my store categories. Let me get a little closer. Mine says like back to school, all things collectible, all things sports. That's just a few of the categories that I have. And over here, in this next column, it tells me the number of subcategories I have in each category, main category. So, as you'll see here, under back to school category, which is right here, if you follow over, you'll see that I have two categories, subcategories in that, and there's a total of 39 listings. So I'll just first show you what I mean by that, just in case anybody's confused. This is my back to school category, back to school, and in that I have books and supplies and then clothing. And it breaks up my 39 items into 21 in textbooks and book supplies and 18 for back to school clothing. So anyway, let me go back to all categories, and what I'm going to do is scroll all the way down. My categories are in alphabetical order, but I think that eBay defaults the other items category, which is something that it gets the folder that it goes into if you don't designate it. I think it's at the bottom always. So I have 17 new listings that I've listed, and I haven't went back and added them to a category yet. So I'm going to click on that 17. And then come back over here. And again, I apologize, this is not so clear. You're going to see all of these 17 items that are in this other category. That could be categorized in a better place. So what I'm going to do, and this is actually just kind of like easier for me to do. First, I'm going to go back through and click on the check the box next to all of the items that I want to actually go into the back to school categories. It doesn't matter if it's which subcategory it's going to go into, but it's going to go into the back to school category. And mostly, let's see, I think I mostly have clothing listed right now. Let's see, those aren't really back to school type things, so I'm going to leave those out for now. I'm going to go in here, and back at the top you can see click edit, I'm going to edit all selected. And once I do that, you're going to see this little screen pop up. And it's going to bring up all of the listings that I just put a check beside of. Now, once again, I want all of these listings to go into the back to school category. Sometimes it's easier for me just to do like groups at a time so I don't get myself confused. So I'm just going to check this main box so that, check this main box here that selects all of the items here. Now I'm going to edit fields, and I'm going to go down to categories and click on that. Okay, and then it's going to bring up this little box here. It says edit category and store categories. Now, if you're not really familiar with eBay, and maybe if you are, it can still be a little confusing when you've done this all day. You're going to see select action. You can either edit listings in bulk or edit listings individually. In this case, I want to edit listings in bulk. So this first little section here, where it just says category and second category, I'm going to leave that at no change, but you can click change to. But I'm going to leave that no change because these two categories here, they're actually talking about the eBay categories, like the categories you put something into when you first decide where your listing is going to go on eBay. What you're trying to do right now is edit store categories, which are the different store categories that you want to put all of your products in. So if someone's shopping in your store, it'll be a little bit easier for them to find. So first you have store category. These items are right now, they're in other. So I want to change to, it's going to bring up a box here that says all things collectible. Now since mine are in alphabetical order, that's the one that happens to pop up because it's at the top of the list. But if I click here, it's going to bring up a list of all of my store categories. And I'm going to scroll down until I see my back to school items. Now I want to keep these listed after back to school sales and everything in. So I'm just going to go ahead and put them in back to school clothing for the first category. And then I'm going to go down to store category number 2, because I do want to put them in 2 categories because once again, once back to school is over, I still want them to be listed in a different category. So I'm going to click change to, and I'm going to scroll down to clothing. And for the most part, because they are back to school items, they're going to go into the youth and kids clothing. So I'm going to click on youth and kids. So out of all those 9 listings that I checked off on that first screen, they've all been changed from the other folder to my back to school folder and my clothing folder. And I'm sorry, I keep saying folder, but actually I mean categories. So then I'm going to go down to the bottom and click save and close. And then you're going to see this. It's going to say, please wait a minute. They're being processed. So it should come back to the screen here where you originally had put these, I think it was 9 listings that I had selected. And there's going to be a little box that you have to click again to confirm. It's going to say submit changes. Okay, we did that. And another box comes up that says confirm and submit. Total listings to be submitted, $9. And I always check this too, just to be sure. It says total fees for these listings are 0. So that means I'm not being charged for any changes that I made. And I'll click confirm and submit. Once again, there's just a small waiting period. And then you should, if you did everything correctly, get the screen where it says you successfully submitted your listings, and then you just click OK. And hopefully all of those listings got changed. Okay, I don't see them in this list that used to have 17 items, the other category, that used to have 17 items, but now it only has 8. So now I have to decide what I'm going to do with the rest of these. Okay, so I know that these are definitely things that I want to go into something besides the others folder. So I'm going to, again, just check those two things. I'm going to click Edit, Edit Selected, and go through this whole process again. Okay, and I'm going to click the main box to select both of these listings, and I'm going to click Edit Fields, scroll down to Categories, and then once again I'm not going to make any changes to these top two because I'm not changing the category that it goes into in eBay. I'm going to change the categories it goes into in just my store. So store category number 1, I'm going to change it to, I don't know, all things are collectible are good for me because, you know, after the holiday rush ends, I'll still be happy to leave them in my store. Oh, see, I just made a mistake. I forgot to do both of them, so it brought me back to this screen. So I just have to click Edit Fields and Categories again and go through this whole thing again just to make sure. All things collectible, and I want to change the second category from Other to, let's see, I have Party and Holiday Supplies, which is the one that I want it to go into. Let's see, there we go. So I'm just going to click on that. So now those two Christmas items that were in the Other folder are in All Things Collectible and Party and Holiday Supplies. And then I'm going to save and close. And then submit changes. And confirm and submit. And then click OK. So, once again, I started out with 17 listings in the Other folder. I put 9 in Back to School and Clothing. I put 2 more into, I think it was Party and Holiday Supplies and All Things Collectible. And now I just have these items. But I'm just going to go back and do those a little bit later once I decide where exactly I want to put them. So it might take a few minutes for these to show up properly. So I guess that's about it. I'm going to just go back. Oops. I always forget. I'm not really supposed to do that, I don't think. And there is a quick way to do this if you don't mess up the first time by pushing the back button. But anyway, I go back down to Manage My Store, click Store Categories, and in a few minutes, if everything was done right, I would give it like maybe 10 or 15 minutes. You check your Others category, and this number here, that was originally 17, should change. but once again, it might not do it immediately. So anyway, I hope this helps out a little bit.